Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Hot Shot Sports Talk. We got Hollis V, Willie G, and we're here to take you into the deep, dark world of underbelly sports in Alaska. You know, Hollis V, how are you doing, my dude? It's been a little bit. Glad to have you back with us.
It's been a hot minute, man. Good to be back. I'm doing all
A-
right. Just doing the
absolutely.
thing here in Anchortown.
Oh man, life happens, life gets busy, ain't nobody's fault. We all love you, everybody loves you. Um, we did have Gonzo step in for 2 episodes while you were gone. We just got to get that content out there. But I love Gonzo, but he's not a Hollis. He did good though. Thank you, Gonzo, so much. Thank you so much. He watches every single one of these episodes, even before doing the cameos. So, well, guys, we got a great episode for you today. First and foremost, what we're going to be talking about is there was a meeting of the heads of the Alaska State Board for softball for the reclassification. Reclassification meeting is going to be happening here in a couple of weeks. Hollis over here, he's on the board. We have Brad Peterson, he's on the board. We're going to be able to lock Brad down for an interview on this show. Um, and thankfully
Yeah,
we've
and
got Hollis here to help us explain about that. And so
yeah,
as we get into
and just
that, I'll be able to
oh yeah,
ask him questions and we'll figure it out. And once we're done with that, we're gonna jump right into the NFL games yesterday, with the game going on right now, the Browns and Chiefs game. And then we're gonna wrap it up and let you know a little bit about what's going on with Hotshot Sports Talk. But all right, Hollis, I'm sorry, man. I didn't mean to interrupt you, but
oh no, you good, man. I was
let's
just gonna clarify. Yeah,
yeah.
I was just gonna clarify the meeting that we were part of yesterday. It wasn't a reclassification. That's part of what goes there, but it was just a state board for Alaska for USA Softball of Alaska, and just kind of did. Uh, Normally, we have that meeting in the second week of December, but due to the different COVID and stuff, it was pushed back. We thought maybe we'd be able to get together in person, but instead, this was done via Zoom yesterday morning for about 3 hours.
So what all did you guys talk about? Was it just like different? Was there any rule changes brought up, or was it just like a recount of last meeting and then, hey, how's
Well, it's
everybody doing? And
yeah,
like,
it's I enjoy the in person meetings for those just because you get to see everybody outside the softball field, get to see everybody after halfway through your winter. But what the state board is you have you can go to USA Softball of Alaska in the contact us section, and you can see everybody that's on that board throughout the state of Alaska. You have representatives from each district throughout the state, from each softball association, different things. My position on that board is the district player rep for Anchorage, for specifically Anchorage Sports, and I'm also a member of the state classification committee.
so you're the
So we,
district rep in Anchorage. So if a player has an issue that they want brought to USA Softball in our Anchorage district, they should technically go to you then.
I,
You're our player
ideally
rep.
you could. I am the district player rep for Anchorage Sports Association,
Well,
or
you
as that
guys
represent.
heard it first. You got something to bring up to USA Softball.
Now,
Before you
hold up.
go bitching at Brad, bitch at Hollis.
No, no, you always bitch to Brad. Just, I mean, you can come ask me questions. I'll clarify. But yeah, you take all your complaints. Go bitch to Brad, man. Talk to that dude. So, so, so yesterday's deal was, we did go over. There's a meet and greet. There's different things. They go over the budget. They do whatever, and then we have one of the big things that usually, I mean, it can be either hit or miss and take up a lot of time, or we could get through it. Yesterday, it took up a lot of time. Was various code changes in our in the state code for USA Softball of Alaska. So there were a
like
few code changes that we had. Um, Primarily, the past few years since I've been on the board, is the code changes generally reflect through like just the classifications divisions. Like a few years ago, we went from having a separate co-ed A and co-ed B to a whole just co-ed comp, and then it was co-ed C, and then we went back to co-ed A, B, all the way down, whatever. And then there was a major code change yesterday that took place that is going to affect a lot of teams
So
throughout the state as
before we
far as
get
co-ed.
into the specifics of that code change, as far as the labeling of a division, or break it down in a little simpler terms, is you, your code changes is talking about the labeling of specific skill divisions, your highest to lowest, l- you know,
Yes,
and
that's
where teams and players should play at is what you mean
correct.
by codes and code changes.
Yes, and it just
Okay.
it puts it down in black and white that says these are the separate co-ed divisions, these are the separate men's divisions, these are the
Now,
separate
you
women's.
said that you
Um,
guys did make new classifications on the codes. And what
yes, we did.
criteria do you guys generally consider when making code changes? Now, is it you guys that make the code changes, or is it USA Softball that makes the code changes?
Well, any sitting, any voting member on the state board can present a code change. Our state commissioner, for those of y'all don't know who Roger Garcia is, he is our current sitting commissioner of USA Softball Alaska, and he sends out once he fires out the heads up that we've got this meeting going on. He'll put us the proposed agenda, just like any typical board meeting. For those of you that do have experience of sitting on various board positions, but for those of you who aren't familiar with it, he'll give us a heads up, and we have roughly 2 to 3 weeks. This past time we had a little bit longer just due to we were waiting to see if restrictions were going to open up and let us meet in person. But anyway, anyone can present code changes proposals to the board, and we talk it out. Here recently, our main man Brad has been very active in doing his job as the player rep, the state player rep of USA Softball Alaska. That's a nationally recognized position, but he's doing his job. So when we went into the code change last year of restructuring the men's league and making it just a straight men's C and then men's D and men's E, that's the hard work and inside of Brad. Just recognizing that the upper level divisions in men's
It's not
had not had
necessarily on his shoulders, as you guys as a conglomerate have to have some sort of vote on this, correct?
right. Yes, yes, and I'm not saying that it's all on him, but
Okay.
he has definitely put the insight to be proactive and make come up with uh, ideas to do his job as the player rep to offer championship play. So last year was the first time in about 3 years that a lot of the players that had been playing in men's comp were actually able to participate in a state tournament.
Yeah, because they
And
had what, four teams or three teams before.
correct,
If one team's not going to show up, what's a three-team tournament? It's
correct.
a
And so
round robin weekend of. I
yeah,
mean, it's
yeah.
not as fun.
Well, and then you'd have you had 3 or 4 teams total in the state that just sat there and beat up on each other, and then why did they want to? Why does a team from Fairbanks want to come down to Anchorage for a 3-team tournament? Not saying that the players from Fairbanks wouldn't do that, but and then if the tournament was going to be ran in Fairbanks, why is one Anchorage team going to want to travel up to play that? It's different. But with the co-ed, similar situation happened last year with the co-ed C state tournament. The co-ed C state tournament was canceled, and Brad proposed this code change to kind of give a solution to not having co-ed C teams play state. And I'm pretty sure a lot of people are going to be upset. There's going to be some apprehension about it, but I think it's all right. I wasn't really
Well,
too
run it down for us now. Give us firsthand. Tell us what
so
last year's code was.
so
All
last
right,
year's so
for
what we did
co-ed.
with
This is for
this.
co-ed. Let's be
Yes,
clear.
yeah, there weren't any changes as far as men's and women's divisions of what they had. Last year's breakdown for separate divisions throughout the state was co-ed A was the highest level of co-ed play.
Okay.
That is where all restricted players, men's restricted players, if they're playing on a co-ed team, they have to play at the highest level of play. So co-ed A had your men's restricted players, the few that we have left in the state, had the majority of your men's C players play co-ed A, a lot of them. So the levels went co-ed A, co-ed B, co-ed C, co-ed D, co-ed
Those are
E.
slashes. A, B, C, D.
Yes.
Okay.
No, they were all co-ed A and B would play somewhat mixed tournaments, but in the state level of play, you would only play co-ed A
Okay.
teams are playing co-ed A teams, co-ed B teams, vice versa. So
Okay, I gotcha.
uh,
I gotcha. It
the
wasn't it
the
wasn't like a slash division.
no, it's there was Anchorage
Some
and the
slash
Massapequa.
tournaments, you're saying, but
Yes,
not
and you
did
would
not
do
actual divisions.
correct, but the divisions throughout the state level, um, local associations are allowed to do what they want to do within reason. They can make their own divisions. They can do
Yeah.
whatever. But when you come and play for a state level, state USA Softball of Alaska sanctioned tournament, the divisions were co-ed A, B, C, and D. We did not offer a co-ed E state tournament. If co-ed E teams did want to play in a state tournament, they would play as a co-ed D team.
Yeah,
So what the
you'd have no reprieve, so like no like instant run support or anything.
right, there's no run spot at the state tournaments, and if you were, say, if you're a co-ed E or a co-ed, if you're a co-ed E team and you play in the co-ed D state tournament, you're going to be labeled as a co-ed D team the next year. Same with, excuse me, if you are a co-ed D team and you play in the co-ed C tournament, they're going to bump you up to co-ed C. So what these changes did, I don't have, I could read the actual verbiage of what it was of what we changed it, but cut and dry is the co-ed D or co-ed A, B divisions are no longer, they don't exist. The highest level of co-ed play in the state of Alaska is co-ed C, and then you will have co-ed D, E, and then your co-ed faith and the church leagues. So
Okay, so
um,
we just it oh we had a video malfunction. Hold on, Hollis, you're stalling out just a little bit here. There
yeah,
we go.
I don't know, you were the one stalling out.
Yeah, it happens.
You back?
Yeah. So there is no more A or B. It is just C, D, E, and rec, right? Is what you're saying now.
Yes.
But there's
So
no
yes,
comp.
yes. So
So
in the
everybody is just considered a C
no,
team if you're the highest level.
it's correct. It's basically it's like how the men's uh, division across the state is ran. If that gives some understanding for those that are familiar with that. So now the co-ed A teams and the majority of the co-ed B teams are going to combine into co-ed C, and the middle of the pack to lower level co-ed B teams are going to now combine with the majority of the co-ed C teams and some of the upper level co-ed D teams to make co-ed D, and
All
then
right.
everybody else will fall where they need to.
Okay, well, I mean, it kind of makes a little sense. It kind of doesn't to me personally. I don't play co-ed, so
Yeah.
I don't understand exactly the skill level differentials between the divisions. Uh, but it seems
Oh,
like if there was already a high A or an A and a B, like, would you not just combine the two, keep those above them, keep the C, the D, and the E?
well, we're we are combining co-ed A and B and making that co-ed C. Basically, it's just the
Are you
names are
moving
changing.
everybody down a
We
level then?
will
So if you were C before, would you then now be D next year?
depends on where you were at in the. I mean, we're going to go through that, and it's we have not had the state reclassification committee convene because we were waiting to see what these code changes would go through if they were going to pass yesterday. That was the main thing. So
Oh, that was
within
just the
2 weeks,
first step of the process is the code change.
yes,
The next step
yeah,
of the process is
well,
actually determining who's going to land where. If
yes,
you're
and
a pre-registered team from last year.
correct, yeah, and then we'll look at your roster or state associations. Will it's going to be different this year, man. as far as just everything, especially with the way that this code change went. But uh, traditionally in the past, the classification committee would meet about a month or so before the state board convened. But this year we didn't know when the state board was going to go, and then also with these code changes, Brad wanted to make sure that we had enough time and effort to, that we weren't wasting our time in case we restructured, did all, a classification one way, going with the what we had last year, or going into what we had this year. We're not going to waste time doing that because this is going to take a lot of time
Did you
and
guys?
effort.
I think one of my questions might be is, did you guys have a lot of feedback from people last year in co-ed that it wasn't working well?
Uh,
Was it something that definitely needed to be changed, or was
well,
it
we didn't have a co-ed C state tournament, and that's
a
as
co-ed
far as
C state tournament didn't happen?
correct. No,
Oh,
it did not. It did not happen.
is that
They it
because
was just
nobody wanted to host it, or everywhere was filled, or what's going on?
I don't. They just didn't have enough entries. I'd have to look and see where co-ed C was held last year. I'm gonna try and pull it up.
Is that just the sole reason? Like,
That was a big reason of why. That was a big reason why Brad came up with that code change, was to because a co-ed C tournament was not offered, or
oh,
did not
because
go.
there's players that wanted to play in a tournament that just didn't even
Yes,
have an
yes,
opportunity.
did not. And now, to be fair, if you want, hang on, let me. I can see last year. To be fair, you could tell those teams, you could be an asshole and tell those co-ed C teams that didn't have a tournament and say, hey, you're more than welcome to play up in the co-ed B tournament. You're just going to play as a co-ed B team. Now, and a couple of teams did,
I would think
and,
that's a
and
reasonable, I mean, assessment, especially if it's competitive. Like, the reason you want to play in a tournament is to be competitive. Like, you
that's true. But there's a couple of teams, a couple of co-ed C teams that just they can't make that jump. There's a few co-ed C teams that could make that jump. They should have made that jump. They didn't, and then at the end of the year, when it's oh, we're going to play co-ed B. All right, yeah, we'll play, and then they actually do some damage. There's a team co-ed. It was a co-ed C team from last season called Smoke Show that was just making the co-ed C tournaments just rolling through. Had zero business, in my opinion, to be down in co-ed C, and then
were
come
they a first year team?
yeah, for the most part,
Yeah, that'll happen.
yes.
If your first team, your team, they come in and you
Eh,
gotta classify them low to start, unless they come in and say, "Hey, we're
well,
ballers. We're gonna come out and ball." But
anyway, that's a totally different. I'm not trying to get on here and trash any team, but and a lot of the players that played on that team are my friends. But and I'd tell them anyway to their face that they had no business playing co-ed C. They had fun. They did their thing. Good for them.
you see
I've
how
been
you
there.
gel.
You know,
It takes a season to
yeah.
figure it out.
No, they did their thing. But anyway, so teams there were a few teams that were in that same category as the Smoke Show, but there were also a lot of other co-ed C teams that they didn't even want to be playing Smoke Show. They didn't want to be playing RUI from the Valley was another team that came up and did pretty good in the
Right.
co-ed C tournament, or in the co-ed B tournament. RUI did very good, but so where was the hang on, I'm trying to see where in the okay, so co-ed C was in Fairbanks last year, and I don't think that they had enough interest to run the state tournament. So that could have been either people didn't want to go up and play in there, or the fact that they didn't want to travel to Fairbanks.
I mean, a lot of times when the state tournaments are in Fairbanks, you lose teams just because of that.
Yeah, and
And we know that as a state tournament and as a state softball organization, we know that when that tournament's in Fairbanks, we lose teams.
well,
You
yeah, and
know,
I don't think it's fair to Fairbanks.
I don't think it's fair to Fairbanks either, but
Yeah, and I
just
can't
is.
and yeah, and I can't hate on anybody that doesn't want to travel to Fairbanks because I've never traveled up to Fairbanks.
I
All the
have.
tournaments that
It's
they
always
happen.
nice though, for the most part. The
Yeah,
weather's always
yeah,
banging.
yeah. And it's not because I don't want to. It's just anytime that they've had for my teams to go up and play in a state
No,
tournament up there, like one year I got married, and so I didn't go. Then the next year I went down and there's just always a lot of different things going on to where I haven't been able to personally make it to Fairbanks.
so
Another
I
reason why, like I don't go to Golden Days because it's the same weekend as the Moose Drop.
yeah, pretty
So or
much.
you know
If you're going,
yeah
if
yeah
you're if you have an invite to Talkeetna, you go to Talkeetna. But if you
yeah
didn't get one, you're going. Your ass going to
yeah
Golden
yeah
Days, heading up to
exactly
Fairbanks.
yeah. So to
You
recap
don't
on what we were
skip.
talking
Hey,
about.
this is for everybody out there. You ever get an invite to go play or sit on a bench in a Talkeetna tournament? It's almost a must you go.
Just
Because
go
if you turn
camping.
it down, you might not get another opportunity.
Yeah. Or even if you don't get an invite to play on a team, come out
Go
and
sit
watch.
there. People need players. People get hurt.
Yep. Bring your
Uh,
shit.
bring your
So to
shit.
so to get back on track here, where we were talking about the
Oh,
massive change
so I got
in the co-ed
a
divisions.
question about the massive change now, and feel free to
Let's
name.
let's let's recap. Let me recap real quick what it is in case somebody just jumped in here. So instead of the co-ed A, B, C, and D divisions that we had
For
last year,
co-ed,
we for co-ed we have now moved to co-ed C, co-ed D, and co-ed E,
and
and
then
that
with
is
a
what it.
rec league behind it that will not have a
Yes,
state tournament.
right. We have co-ed faith in our state code, just and because I mean I think that they just have it just in case like say if if the Matsu wants to start a co-ed faith league and then
No, you get it. I get it.
you
Like
know
you gotta
that
have you gotta
that's
have an
yeah
overall govening body to be able
yeah
to
that's
and
why that's in
rules
there.
and stuff to go
And
by.
man, and I mean I don't know if you've ever I when I was umpiring I would umpire a lot of co-ed faith games and they got some ballers in there. They're, you know Bible Bible bangers can smack the tar of the ball. But anyway, back on track. What were your so to
So
recap?
now
What were
feel free to name some team names, but of the high A co-ed teams, who's gonna be the most like upset about this of having to go down and not
I don't
having
think
and not
that
having a classification of A?
so it's nobody that in the upper level teams that have an issue with this
You don't
in
think
my
so?
from my perspective. Oh no, the teams that are playing in the co-ed A division statewide prefer larger tournaments. I mean, do you want to go in and I mean, you personally, I mean, do you want to sit in a tournament with 6 teams or do you want to sit in a tournament with 26 teams? I want the 2016 tournament. I mean,
Yeah.
I want a 36 team
It's
tournament. I
more
want a
people to
46.
drink and smoke with. Let's just be real.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, it sets, if you're able to, any team that wins a tournament with 20 plus teams, or 15, 16 plus teams, that's a pretty good accomplishment, regardless of what level of play you're playing at. Because once you get into the quarterfinals, semifinals, finals, I mean, that's some pretty competitive ball. From co-ed D all the way up to the conference level. Um,
Right.
but it's not the players in the co-ed A teams and the higher competitive co-ed B teams that are going to be upset. It's going to be the players that are going to be upset are the ones that are on teams that
It's gonna
finished
be
either in the middle of the road.
those
Yeah,
bubble teams. It'll be those bubble
it's the
teams that kind of
yes,
might find their way in between divisions.
yes,
Well,
and that's just gonna
that's gonna happen. You
yeah,
can't please everybody all the time.
yeah. I mean, I've a team I played on last year. The team I would be on this year. I mean, it's both of those. One of them's on the bubble
Well, there were a lot of, I mean,
to
with the men's changes, you're right. There was a lot of the middle of the road teams that were kind of upset about things. I play for the Brew Crew, and
yeah, but y'all
we
ain't got no
we're
business playing
well,
D.
we weren't so upset
Yeah,
about
and
having more comp players because we get it.
oh,
We see Hit Squad
Willie,
all year
y'all
long.
okay, and y'all all of those. So that's a perfect example. The Brew Crew was worried about how they were going to finish in the men's total C combined league last year? And what
Oh no, we
what was
weren't.
Penn State?
That's what I'm saying. We
Oh,
we
okay.
we were
Yeah,
one of the teams that weren't so
yeah.
concerned about it
Okay.
because we typically have a strong squad.
Yeah.
Uh,
Very
we yeah,
competitive. Yeah.
very competitive. The right kind of competitive. You know,
So
like we
all
got
right.
one big mouth on our team,
Oh, fucking Dale. Love you,
which
Dale.
we all love. Like, yo, here, let's raise one to Dale.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean? You're never gonna catch our whole dugout coming out into fisticuffs. You won't hear our whole dugout chirping real bad. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Except for
Like
what
we got
when I
one
kick a
big
can.
mouth,
What?
but
Well,
he does
yeah.
enough for all of us. We like, yeah,
Well,
we let that dog off the chain. Like click, here you go, get him, Dale. Just
man.
don't get thrown out.
Yeah. But yeah. So you'll one example on that from last year that I would say would be like Hua. Um, they did their thing as a men's D team, and then they were put up in the total men's C. Um,
They fared well. They had a fair
they did
record
okay. They
at the
had
end of the
fun. Yeah,
season.
they won some games. They won some tournament games. They did their thing, and it wasn't. I don't think it was as a big a shock to them. Coming and playing with the big baller, or playing against like Paisanos or Hit Squad or something like that. I'm sure that Hit Squad and Hua had some decent
The
league games out in the
well,
valley.
uh, eh.
I, well, anyway, so um, I don't know. We've touched a lot on that. There were a few other things that went on. I don't know if
I
we
mean, like
do.
we
We want to touch.
handled those guys this year. Who
Yeah, no. So
personally?
so with the I don't know how much more time we want to stress on the classification changes,
Well,
but that's the big thing
not
was
just the changes. You know, let's
no
talk a
no.
little bit
So
about the reclassification meeting coming up. What time? When is that gonna happen?
we're gonna do that. We've got 2 weeks that our state player rep Brad Peterson is he's got 2 weeks for us to get it done.
Who's my Matsu Valley rep?
Uh Ford,
Stephen
Mr. Stephen
Ford.
Ford. Yep.
So
So you got Stephen.
if I have an issue like, hey, yo, I think this should happen, you know, like this team kind of sucked and this team like
Oh, as far as
I
that,
should
that's
like bring it up to Ford and he'll bring it to the meeting.
no, no, that's the the actual rep from the valley. It's Davy Griffith
Oh,
is
okay.
y'all's.
So
Yeah,
that's who I should
he's
talk to.
so Steve is the actually Steve is a at large member. Hang on, let me pull up the actual list of what I got because let me see the contact
I mean,
page.
and also too, so Hit Squad was, I believe, no, Ben had Pinson playing. I believe Pinson was on the restricted list, right?
He came off.
He came off. Okay, so Hit Squad was like the only team in the Valley that had restricted players. Oh, they didn't even have restricted players.
No.
So I mean, they went 16 and 2 in the Valley, right? But our league is full of parity. Second to last place was 7 and 11, and second place was 10 and 8. You know, and
Yeah.
who we had one team go 3 and 15 that was Nodak Electric, and everybody just kind of walked on them all year long.
Yeah.
Even the
So
Spurs, Ben, and Next, and the Bad News Beers and Green Degree were all 500 teams in the Valley. You know that does. I mean, yeah, Hit Squad went 16 and 2, but there's nothing. They didn't score that many more runs than everybody else in the league. 12 more runs than the runner-up. It's not like it was too out of hand. So the
yeah.
reclassifications work, in my personal opinion.
Yeah, and that's men's. I don't really see a lot. Uh, I mean, I'd have to look at different things. I haven't
It,
really
just
concentrated too much on the
tell
men's.
me the restricted players list is going to either get larger or non-existent.
I would see a couple of people going to it, or I don't know what's going on with that as much. I'm not necessarily on the committee for that, so
Oh,
I mean,
okay.
I just kind of look at it.
Oh, but
Well,
that's what I'm saying. As far as the men's is concerned, I mean, I there
yeah,
were. there were
I
a
don't see
lot
any
of
major
questions. And Mr. Ford, he brought in that ringer from Fairbanks.
from Fairbanks.
And wasn't that dude, wasn't it the military dude that was just clapping
Oh,
everything at state?
uh, Kyle Quigg,
Kyle?
Mr. Quigg. I didn't realize he was from Fairbanks. I've only met him
I
once or
thought he was from
twice,
Fairbanks. I
but
could be wrong. When some
yeah,
mysterious dude shows up to a tournament, there could be a million different myths, you
yeah,
know?
yeah.
The
So
the
yeah,
guy could be playing AAA ball in Tennessee for all I know.
yeah.
But he looked
Wait
like he
till
could have been. Shit, that guy was a baller.
wait till you see this old man that I'm bringing from Kenai up to Talkeetna. That'll be fun. Like 63, but they're gonna try and put him on the restricted list.
What?
No, anyway, so that's I don't see any major changes in the men's classification. I mean, there might be one or two teams that were in the C might move down. There might be a couple of teams. I'm pretty sure there's going to be one or two
Well,
teams
and
in the men's D
I
that are
look
going
at
to bump
the
up.
co-ed too, just like looking at the records of teams in co-ed, like there's not as much parity. Like the co-ed ED in the Valley here, right? You've got 6 teams over 500, and the rest of them are just not good.
Well, um, like for me and a lot of what's going on with the classification boards that I do, the only time that I'm really concerned about a league record is when it's in like doing the association stuff and you're looking at like I'm on the Anchorage Sports uh, Association there and head up the co-ed classification there as the co-ed player rep, and like if you're like a co-ed D or a co-ed E team and you finish the season at 15-0 with a 120 something plus run differential, yeah, your ass is moving up to co-ed C. You know what I mean? Like you ain't
Right.
got no business there. Like what are you doing, man? You're
See,
beating
and
up on
that's the big
father
thing.
Pat going up the middle.
That's the
But
only big thing with Hit Squad is their run differential is out of this freaking world. Like that's why it
yeah,
would make me think that few of their players need to be on that restricted list.
well, that's
Uh,
something that they'll go over and we'll
it's a
talk and different
plus
things.
130, dude.
Yeah, well, some
264
people.
and 130 against. Bruker was plus 3.
Yeah, some people take league a little bit more seriously than other folks.
Well,
For
I
me,
don't think they
it's
take
hard to.
league that serious. I sure as hell know they take tournaments real serious.
Yeah, well, that's another thing is you're looking at your tournament performance is what I what I look at tournament performance and your roster. I mean,
Right.
you can go in there and try and stand back down, but I mean, if you look at your roster and you see four dudes that have no business playing co-ed D, um, with they're playing with their girlfriends or significant others, and that's why they want to play with down that level, but yet their old ladies are sitting there hitting the ball farther than I do. That's just because
I mean, I got lit
they're
up.
they're
I gave up 4 home runs in Talkeetna on Labor Day to ladies in a game, one game,
yeah,
in two
but those
innings.
yeah, but those ladies hit the ball out of the park in Cartier, so it's not like
Oh,
I mean,
well.
yeah,
Okay, so I don't
I mean,
feel as bad. People try to make me feel bad.
yeah,
I'm like, nah, these ladies
nah,
crushed
man,
the ball.
nah,
And
bro,
not only that,
no,
you're using
man.
the new bats with the 44 core balls. I think we almost need to restrict those bats
Well, you can't. They're not using a. Nobody across the state should be using a 44 core ball.
for the
I mean,
women's.
right? You
What
don't. It's
is it?
it's fit.
It's a 50.
Yeah, it's 52. Should have been because you can't hit 44 core balls with those monster bats, man. You'll
I didn't think
break them.
so.
Yeah, you'll break them. But yeah, no, this it's a 52 core ball. So and that's even man. That tells you something right there. I mean, for one, Yoli's put one out on me. She put one out on me before her brother did. That's in freaking Cartier. No, I'm sorry. That was
That's
she did that to me in the valley, and then Tui did it to me
ugh.
at in Cartier. But yeah, that's what I was. I mean, I went there for a couple of years where I was I could sit there and I was happy. Like Tui never put one out on me, and I
We had
and he
Tui so
he
rattled
respected.
at state this year.
Oh
Woo, we
man,
had him.
it happens. Don't let him hear you. Let him
Oh, I
hear
want
you
him to
say
hear
that.
me. I said, bring it next year. I love you, Tui. You know I love you. I got
But
mad
yeah,
love for
yeah.
you.
So don't feel bad about those. don't feel bad about those ladies putting them out on you at Talkeetna. Those girls put them out
265
in the.
fans.
Yeah, I was gonna say they put them out. Shit, Yoli came close in Mountain View, put one out. But
Well, on this topic
so
of
yeah, so hey,
softball in the state,
so we're hey let's move. There were a few other. There were one or two other things I wanted to talk about.
Okay,
Uh, that they did that. So the main thing with was the classification changes. I'm sure
sure.
that's gonna be a big
We
issue
already,
for teams. Everybody's
all
going
right.
to be they're just they don't know what's going on. It's everybody's questions change. I think it's going to be good for the state, good for competition. You just gotta, I mean, just gotta go with it. So
Absolutely. So
that was the big
what
one.
is one of
That
the
was
other points here?
all right. So that recap that change just for anyone that
We
didn't
already
know
did it.
was
We already
going.
recapped it
Yep,
like 4 times.
man, I don't care. Some people need to pay attention. All right. So the state tournament format. State tournament format in men's and women's and
Okay.
co-ed is now a triple elimination format.
Oh,
Doesn't matter where your association is. Doesn't matter who's hosting it. Doesn't matter if it's Anchorage Sports hosting it,
you,
Golden Heart hosting it, Matsu. Going to be triple elimination and it's
all
going to be
state
seeded
tournaments and co-ed will be triple elimination
and
and
women's.
men's.
Yeah, so it's triple elimination and seeded.
Okay.
How they're
W-
going to do it.
We had an
Um,
issue last year at state tournament with the, tournament with the seeding, the way it worked in our particular, the Brew Crew's particular seed matches, and the way it went. We were better in the plus minus, and we got screwed out of a seed and a bye in the tournament. Do you remember
so
this
that's not even.
happening?
I think I vaguely.
Yeah.
But that no, I mean they're gonna go seeding from your each association is gonna receive a top seed. So they're gonna be like if you have like Hit Squad or Brew Crew from the Valley is gonna be a number one seed from there. You're gonna have a number one seed from Anchorage. That then they're gonna all break it down. Of however many teams enter, you're gonna be seeded based on your overall league record and your tournament performance up to the state tournament.
Okay. Is there a weight on those? Like, is your overall win percentage? Because obviously some leagues will play more games than others throughout a
Right.
season. So is your overall win percentage weighted more into your seed than your previous tournament? I mean, when it comes to
You know,
state tournament, I would think that it should only go by win percentage. And then if there's a tie, then it would be like just, previous tournament, performance.
man, you know what? To be honest, I don't know. I asked the question of how they're going to seed it, and that is on our state commissioner. He's Roger's going to be the one that's in charge of that. So, however he determines the seedings are going to be in whatever state tournament that you're playing in, all complaints can be sent to Roger. Of course, you need to go to Brad and complain first, just so he has to deal with it. But ultimately, um, Roger's going to be that.
All right.
We just hit up Brad just to annoy him because that's it. So I mean, you could have a question on how long to set some popcorn in the microwave, and you need to ask Brad first. So, um,
Brad, I'm doing it right now. Brad, how long do I put
yeah,
popcorn in the microwave?
yeah. So that's
Dash,
it, and then yeah, and
AKS.
then we got the state the rotation what the state tournaments are going to be. Um,
Where are the
so
places? So you have Anchorage, the Valley, and Fairbanks?
yes, so you're going to have men's men's C and co-ed C are going to be Anchorage Sports is hosting those. Men's D and co-ed D are going to be in Golden Heart up in Fairbanks, and then if they do have a men's E or co-ed E would be in the Valley.
Okay, so we're CAR-T this year.
Yeah.
Hey yo, let's go, Brew
Yep.
Crew. We play well there.
Yep. And we did that, and then just kind of set. We voted for the statewide tournament schedule, so the tournament schedule should be coming out. We've got a draft of it, but it should be coming out within the next couple weeks or so. It just depends on whoever. I forget who's putting that together. So there were a couple of notable things about that. We had the Wounded Warrior, the USA softball Wounded Warrior team that was supposed to come up last year for the pot of gold, but that got canceled due to
COVID.
COVID. Yep. Um, they are coming up again. So that's going to be the pot of gold. Hopefully, y'all will be there. Hopefully, the brew crew will be there. But the
Pot of
pot of gold is
pot of gold.
happening. I believe it's the June 18th or 19th. I forget.
Oh,
Let
it's a
me.
June tournament.
Yeah, it's a second. Let me pull. I'm gonna have to pull up.
We
I
don't
have
really
the.
make too many other tournaments.
Well, talk to your friends because the pot or talk to your team. The pot of gold is a money tournament.
You can
You
win
pay
money.
your yeah. You pay your entry fee, and the way that the tournament is ran is a lot of the cost. Kind of, I was able to see this of how, how I make the profit for and the donations for my
Red, white, and brewski.
yeah. So you're paying your they don't pay like each team has to account for their scorekeepers, different things like that. They basically take that out of the picture and use all the money that they would pay for scorekeeping, and it goes to the
Okay.
pot. I think, and the payouts are determined on how many teams enter, and all that good stuff. So I think last year, first place, I forget how much they took home, but I know in the past few years, a couple of times, the first place team has taken home well over $1,000.
Woo! It's
Yeah,
drinking money.
yes, you could buy a lot of different things with that money.
Hookers and blow.
Yeah, I was gonna say, pretty sure a lot of more other things are done with drinking with some of the teams that have done that in the past. I'm just gonna throw that out there. But
Oh, right on. Well,
yeah, I'm
that's
trying to
that's
pull.
good to know that they're gonna be up there for the tournament.
Yeah, and so that's pretty cool. It's the Wounded Warrior thing. Just to give some background on that, last year at the meeting that we had in 2019. Was actually pretty cool. We had the representative for like the public relations lady for the USA softball Wounded Warrior team came and actually met and spoke with us. I've got a coin that she gave me. She gave everybody a challenge coin. It's pretty cool. But
Oh my gosh, the
one of
Browns.
the things, yeah, they're getting spanked.
No,
But
they had the ball. They had the ball,
all right,
and a dude rushes for 25 yards and fumbles the ball out of the back of the end zone for a touchback for the Browns. Fumbled it forward out the back of the end zone.
damn. All right.
That's
Well, where I was going, that USA, the Wounded Warrior team, anyone that plays on that team is an amputee. Is one of the things of that. So whether you lost a leg or an arm, um, they're out there. And I mean, if you watch videos of those guys playing ball, they're pretty good, man.
now I was never in
You
the
know,
I was never in the military, but I'm circumcised. Now
that doesn't
does that
no
count me as an amputee?
no. I mean, no. To my understanding, it doesn't. So we don't have
Just make
any.
a little light of a bad situation.
Yeah,
I love these guys that
yeah.
come
So
back,
that
man. Again, the guys in the
pot
Wounded
of
Warrior
gold.
Project have some of the best attitudes that you could ever
Yeah.
imagine. So
So it's the weekend of June 11th through the 13th is
is
that
that good?
tournament.
Right on, and we'll
Yeah,
talk more about that as
yeah,
that gets closer. We're still a
yeah,
good solid 6 months away from that.
yeah. So
Um,
no other big changes with that. Just the
right
co-ed
on.
stuff.
And we'll bring this up. We'll bring this up again after the reclassification meeting for restricted players and whatnot when that comes up,
Yeah,
and we get all that. We do have a couple cool interviews that'll be coming up here soon. We are gonna have Stephen Ford, manager for the championship hit squad, will be on. We'll be able to ask the guy some questions, you know, maybe take a couple jabs, hear what he's got to say. We like the guy. I like him personally. I don't have any issues with him. I like chatting ball with him. And for him, mostly it's just all about the ball. The haters are gonna hate and the players are gonna play. So I'm interested to get him on for an interview. I already got the okay that it's gonna happen. Just trying to lock down when. Um, we're also going to be having Tim Popowski, head coach Palmer football, on the show, right? And that's the big one. That's the one I'm excited for. One, he's a teammate of mine, adult men's softball league, but he's doing great things in Palmer with football. Just last year, he had a stud linebacker. His name's Dustin Corbin. Go off and go on to a higher level of play in college. Uh,
Where's he? Where's that kid playing at?
oh gosh, where is he at? I don't have it written down exactly where he's at. I believe it's a D2 school. Which we'll get more information on that. See, and that's more what I wanted to talk with Pop about. Get the answers from him directly. Find out if he's got more players coming out. Going to go be playing college ball. Um, but yeah, so we're going to be doing some interviews. Uh, we got a lot of great things coming up. We will be giving away a new Monster Vat. Facts, facts, facts. And the only way to be involved to have your name in the drawing for a brand new Monster Bat is to subscribe to this YouTube channel. This is not a gimmick. This is not a joke. This isn't make believe or play. Hollis and I have put money up out of our own pockets. We're buying the bat. If you subscribe, you will be in for the drawing. Meaning, we're going to randomize all our names in a generator, pull your name, you're going to win a bat. We'll get it to you, ship it to you, we'll get a hold of you, figure out how to do it. But the only way to get in is if you subscribe. So be sure to subscribe to the channel, get your name in. We're going to be doing the drawing for that on Memorial Day, which is the Nash Bash tournament in Talkeetna. So please be sure get your subscription in way before then. It doesn't matter if you subscribe today, tomorrow, next week, next month. Be subscribed before Memorial Day, and you'll have a chance to win that bat. Hollis, let's talk about some football.
Oh my goodness.
Let's talk about the NFL. Right now, the Browns are being the same old Browns, same old faceless Browns. As
There's
Juju
still a lot
got
of game left.
smacked down. Yeah, it's first half's getting ready to be over. It's 16-3 at this particular time. I know you guys are gonna watch this video. The game is gonna be over, and we're probably gonna look like some dumb shits for some shit we're gonna say. Um, which I'm all right with. I mean,
Well, I
I've,
mean,
I've worn
oh yeah,
egg before.
I mean, there's a lot of game left in here right now. It's almost just a little over a minute left.
I mean, my
I
bold
mean,
prediction
they've
was
still
the
got
other
some.
night. I said the Browns were gonna beat the Chiefs.
Yeah, I thought they were too. They're playing in a little different environment. Plus, I mean, that was
The
a big
Chiefs have
win that they
something
had
like
last week.
11,000 fans there, something like that.
Yeah, yeah, that's
The largest fan base in a stadium this year.
yeah,
So,
and that's the second time this year that they've broke that record, right?
yeah, I
Pretty
believe
sure because
so.
they've been now. And this goes back into one of the discussions that we had the last time. I'm all that's cool. I mean, it's great to be letting fans in, but I think it was one of their first games of the season to where it's like, yeah, they're restricting the amount of fans that are in there, but they have everybody, corralled in like 100 people blocks or whatever. So there's really no point in social distancing. So I haven't turned on the game to look at here. I've just been looking at the cast, so I can't see the crowd.
Yeah, I haven't been
But
watching any of the game either, just kind of keeping up with the
but
tab here.
but even what was how many fans were at Lambeau yesterday? Uh,
We had 6,000 fans, 6,000
yeah,
tickets.
that's what they said.
Well, so we
So
had
and
6,000
you know
6,000 tickets, players, families,
yeah,
right? And then healthcare workers from the area.
right on.
So they
Yeah,
didn't.
but
That's awesome. Like let's just give it up right now. All our healthcare workers out there.
yeah,
Thank you guys. You guys right now are really doing one of the hardest jobs there might be out in the United States right now. keeping this nation healthy and functioning. I believe that you're the blood, you're the oxygen to everything. So thank you
Um,
guys. But yeah, for
yeah,
them to be
for
able to
sure.
give free tickets to the healthcare workers,
Yeah, but
uh, it's pretty sweet.
yeah, and where I was going with this, I'm not trying to take away from what you're saying about those awesome folks out there doing taking care of us, but where I was going with that was Rogers at his post game, one of his post game talks yesterday,
Ear to
spoke
ear.
about how yeah, he was just. I mean, that's a I mean, I might be a Packers hater, but I do enjoy me some Rogers. You know what I'm saying?
Oh my
So
goodness! What the heck is that? Look how sexy you are.
what we
Oh
put
my,
the
oh,
what
now you just got ugly
it's
again. But
but
dang,
anyway,
you're looking
I
spicy.
I
Some
like
pepper jack with that.
so I think that's the only time I've really publicly done that. But no, it's Mason. My son Mason got that from his grandpa's a big Packers fan, and so he gave that to Mason several years ago.
Oh,
Mason's still a
boys,
Cowboys fan at heart, but
boys got some
it's
taste.
yeah. But no, but he
I need to
just
get that
made
kid. I need
you
to
know
get that kid a jersey. They get him a Packers jersey.
he might like it, but
If it says Gramps
oh
apostrophe S number one,
yeah,
he's
there you
gonna wear
go.
that.
But no, but Rogers made the comment about how it was so great to play in front of fans, and even the small crowd of 6,000 was enough for him to get him motivated and out there. So I can only imagine what it is with that crowd
Three false
in
starts.
Kansas City.
Three
Yeah,
false
there.
starts on LA.
Oh yeah,
That's
because
huge. If six
well, LA
thousand
got
fans, if 6,000 fans can do that though.
yeah, and I was uh, excited to see a number one defense clash with a number one offense, and Green Bay definitely showed who was superior yesterday. That's
Now,
for damn
granted,
sure.
their defense, and I never want to see anybody ever get hurt. Okay, ever. They were not their number. They weren't at their top. Uh,
Right.
Clearly, Aaron Donald was not at his best. He was still ailing. Early in the first quarter, they had one of their linebackers go out for the entire game. They had a safety go down. Like there was some issues that happened with the Rams that they weren't at their best, you know, and they managed to put up some points, but it wasn't they. I said it before. I said it to you yesterday, talking to you, or the day before yesterday, that if the Packers score first, that game was over, and they did.
Yeah.
They got a field goal opening drive, uh, you know, but if they scored first, that game was over. There was no way their offense was going to be able to keep up with the Packers. There's
Yeah.
and
And well,
unless it's
take
the Chiefs, there's nobody in this league left that can do that. I don't think the Saints can do it. I don't think the Bucks can do it. I don't think that their offenses are as proficient as the Packers.
we'll have to see uh, who y'all are going to play after this game this evening.
I think
I, I,
this is what it comes down to for me, man. These we have the most potent offense. We have three different running backs that all offer different things, bring different parts to the table. We've got Devonte Adams, who might be the best off the line that we've seen probably since maybe Randy Moss. Okay. And when your defense is constantly getting torched by this in practice,
yeah.
right? And then you go up against a guy like Kamara, who's two-dimensional, but he's not a three-dimensional player. You know what I mean? Catches passes out of the backfield. Not the biggest on blocking, but he can find a hole, squeak it, right? We got that guy. We got that. That's that's Aaron Jones. Uh, they got Latavius Murray. Well, they got a big guy. Well, shit, we got AJ Dillon. That's our big guy. Any of these guys that they have, our defense matches up against them every day in practice, but just a little bit better. And I do think Aaron Jones is better than Kamara. People might think I'm crazy. Dustin Murray hating on me right now just for saying that. But I just think that there's no team besides Kansas City left in the playoffs right now that can even rival us.
Well, I think
Buffalo
it
maybe, but I mean, Baltimore's defense isn't that good. They struggled. That game was hard to watch.
they took care of man.
They
The
took care of
Bills came
business.
out. They came out ready to play, dude. Freaking old dude coming down with a tying the longest ever interception for a pick six, 101 yards.
Oh,
That was, I mean, but
dude,
that
and I
that
love my
that play
man Scott.
that made me out of breath. That made me out of breath.
Yeah, he was tired. He got in there, and I love my man Scott Kless. But if y'all ain't seen his video on Facebook yet,
Oh
bless
my god.
bless his soul. Bless his soul.
Oh, that poor guy. Yeah, I love him, but
Ugh.
that shows some emotion. But
Really,
I
they
mean,
really got me here, and I actually wrote a whole
yeah.
message on there about you,
Yeah.
Hollis. And
Oh,
I erased it.
oh. No, I was not ready to see his video, but I mean, I'm not hating on the man. I mean,
Oh, I'm not hating
it's
on him
just
either.
that's
My
good stuff.
message kind of
That's
my message
yeah
kind of just entailed like, if
yeah
you're like
that
this for the Bills doing this, what's Hollis gonna look like when the Cowboys
oh
finally win one?
man. I mean, I don't know if I'll be balling, but I might be running around butt naked downtown Abilene. That's for sure.
Yeah,
And
hide the fireball, hide your
yeah,
daughters.
exactly, man. You better hide that bourbon from me.
Oh
Hide the
my
bourbon and gin. We don't need
goodness.
none of that. But yeah,
But
no, that's I thought about that too. It's like,
uh
damn, man, if
big
Scotty's getting teared up off of that, imagine what I'm gonna do.
Well, dude, you got to think the last time they did anything in the postseason, all four times were just complete fucking nightmares.
All
They
five
re
times. Okay, five times
the
because the
guy,
last time that they were in the playoffs was the Music City Miracle.
the,
That
the
was their last. That was the closest that they were ever to a playoff
it,
win before after their Super Bowl abortions was
right,
the
and
Music
you got
City
to think
Miracle.
this
So
guy
imagine
Scott's old enough to remember too. Like he
he's a
literally
grandfather. That's how old he is.
is he really a grandfather?
Yes, yes, he is.
You old bastard, gray haired, pepper faced, fucking beehole son of a bitch.
Oh
I
man,
love you.
yeah, good
I
for you,
love you.
Scott.
But he lived through four nightmares.
Yeah,
Nightmares. You got to think after number three, like, how did Buffalo not just go up? Highest suicide rate in the nation after number three, right? And then number
yeah,
four happens, and you're like, oh my God. Like, you feel pity on these Bills fans. You're like,
yeah,
well, yeah, you could be a Browns fan and just not ever tasted it in a while, but
yeah. To
man,
get
those Bills fans to get so close, it's like,
yeah,
oh,
and you know what? And I think that this, I mean, they've got a good team. They've got a good squad this year,
great
and
young squad and a great
even
coach.
last year, they had a really. I felt that their team was good.
They were
They didn't
getting
get to
better.
right where they needed to. Yes, they weren't right where they needed to, but they also. I mean, look at what happens when Brady changes divisions. I mean, you know,
Brady's still
that's
pretty
just
darn good.
yes, he is, and he's not my goat yet. But if
He
he
just
takes
doesn't
his
have the
team,
coach. He doesn't have the. Yeah,
it,
it,
well, that's
it
another.
was a mutual thing between Belichick and Brady. I don't think one guy pushed the team that much further overboard than the other. I think them together were just a great married match.
Yeah, well,
Um,
yes, well because you have Belichick's his leadership skills, and then you have Brady's leadership skills, and I think that they balance each other out very well because I mean he's a perfect example of players wanting to play with a certain person by all the people that he brought
well,
to Tampa
that's
Bay
what
with him.
Stephon
You know,
Diggs. Like Josh Allen's been in the league for 3 years, right? Stephon Diggs
yeah.
is he's been in the league what 5 years?
I thought they were gonna kiss yesterday when they were getting interviewed, man.
They look they get a little googly. I'm not gonna lie,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
he said to Josh Allen, he said, "Oh, they asked him, oh man, what did you notice a difference? Like you've played with a lot of quarterbacks all your years in Minnesota. Like, what's the difference with Josh Allen?" And he said, Josh Allen wants to win at all costs. The guy's not
yeah,
gonna he's not gonna apologize for missing a throw, the same as I'm not gonna apologize for missing a catch, right?
right.
Is that he's already beaten himself up enough that he wants to be better. He wants to be the best. And if he isn't up to the best, he's going to do what it takes to be the best, which is you don't have that in every player. You don't have that in every quarterback. You've never heard Mitchell Trubisky say anything like that. You know what I
I
mean?
don't think
Uh,
I've ever heard him say anything,
no, his douchebaggy ass face won't let him.
but they went from what's that dude's name? Who was their quarterback that played at Purdue? I'm trying to think of.
Cutler didn't play at Purdue, did
Yes,
he? Oh,
Cutler. That's
yeah, yeah,
he
yeah.
didn't he didn't play for Purdue. Wasn't he at Vanderbilt? But
Vanderbilt.
yeah, my bad. But anyway, so you go from Cutler to Trubisky is freaking awesome.
For Packers fans, yeah, I mean, let's just be real. The Bears will never have a good quarterback. That's their big curse. Like, they could sign Aaron Rodgers when we let him go, and he'll turn to trash just because it's the Bears. The Bears will not have a good quarterback. When they drafted Trubisky third overall, I was dancing. I was drinking and I was dancing. Okay? I was so happy. I was like, this guy is garbage. There's nothing about him that says prototypical NFL QB. He's not even a game manager, dude. He's a jock manager. Okay? Get out of here, Trubinsky. You're sorry ass. All right. Regardless, another thing about that Buffalo game, T's and P's out there to Lamar. Uh, got his bell rung.
Oh
Lamar
yeah,
Jackson got his
yeah.
concussion. And you know what? To the Bills Mafia. Y'all showed out hard. After Lamar Jackson went down last night in that game, Bills Mafia comes out and starts donating to his charity from college, right? And I think it was something like $85,000 or something like that raised.
Huh. I did not see that.
And it was, oh man, I'm gonna post you the link right now. Just because, yeah, Buffalo Bills fans donate to the Lamar Jackson backed charity after victory over Baltimore Ravens. And the number amount, oh, 7,000 individuals as of 2 p.m. Eastern Time today. 7,000 individuals have donated over $150,000. Let me post this link to you. And yeah, so that's remarkable. The fact that these
Yeah,
guys are able to go out and do something like that. Nobody told him to. Lamar Jackson didn't lobby them for that. Um, you know,
yeah, yeah. He was worried. He was probably wanting to get back in the game while everybody else thought he was going out to go take another dump.
well, I mean,
You
geez,
know,
it's like,
poor guy.
yeah. Um, but you know what? That's how, because it ain't about cheering to watch other people get hurt. I hate that aspect. Some jackass in the freaking bar, like yeah, Trubisky sucks. I'll say that every day of the week. If we're playing him, the last thing I want to see is that guy break his leg, have a career-ending injury, something along a concussion even. That shit leads to CTE. I want to see him get hit hard. I want to see him get the wind knocked out of him and maybe sit a series out because the motherfucker can't breathe for 10 seconds. Um, but I don't want to see the guy get injured to where, you know, they're sitting games. They're not doing anything like that. And for the Bills fans to really show out and uh and do that for Lamar Jackson's charity. Yeah, the guy gets paid enough. He don't need no money, but his
Yeah,
charity that's special.
yeah,
We need more of that. I'd like to know if
yeah.
Scott donated. Scott,
He might
comment.
not remember.
He was drinking those Astro Pop drinks, those Bills
Yeah,
Mafia drinks.
man, I'd have been pounding them down too. But
His little buddy on his
no,
post, I said, "Oh man, that looks delicious, dude. I'm rooting for you," is what I told him. And some dude jumps on and says, "You know he's not a Democrat, right, Will?"
oh,
And I was like, "The
I'm pretty
fuck,
sure.
no."
I don't know Russ. I saw that comment.
Yeah,
I'm
I'm
pretty
like,
sure
I'm
he
like,
said
who the, like, where,
he
where
had
the
to
hell did that shit come from?
way over on the other side of the right part of the fence. That's where it came from.
Yeah,
Way
bro.
the fuck over there.
Take your ball and go back somewhere else, man. When
Anyway,
I saw that on there, I was like, that's
yeah.
hilarious.
No,
But
well, good for them because I mean, normally the Bills Mafia does not have a a great reputation from people that are not part of it. You know what I'm saying? So I think that
they've
that's
got good
really good
fans
for
in
them.
general, though.
You know, yeah,
I've seen a
yeah,
few
they
games at
do.
Ralph Wilson Stadium, man, and it's awesome.
Yeah.
It's about
No, I'm just saying
30 minutes outside of Buffalo. It's great.
no, but for them to go and give that, because normally everybody's perception, or at least mine is anyway, when I think of the Bills Mafia, granted, there's a lot of good people, a lot of good friends of mine
You're
that
just
are,
hearing
you know,
mafia.
huh?
You're just
Yeah,
hearing
no, no.
mafia.
Well, not that. But anytime I think about that, is I think about those the idiots jumping into tables, the dude Bills fan choke slamming his little kid into the table, trying stupid stuff like that, and it's like, man. But to hear where I was going to hear a story of the Bills
I
Mafia
mean,
like
they did
this
throw
is
snowballs at Santa Claus,
yeah,
so they're not the
it's
worst.
it's very refreshing for me to hear a great story about the Bills fan base
Absolute.
like that. You know what I'm saying? That's where I was going with.
Yeah.
Normally you hear a bunch of. So who you got in the who you got
In
Brady
tonight's game,
versus Breeze? Yeah, man.
I honestly
Um,
think New Orleans is going to take this game. I don't think it's really even going to be that much of a struggle. Everybody says it's hard to beat a team 3 times in a row.
yeah,
It's just to be the third
that's
meeting. But I don't think that's an issue. I think when you're the best team in your division, perennially, like the Saints are, um, you have that big brother complex on a team. We do it as the
yeah,
Packers. We do it to every single team in our division. You know what I mean? And the only team that's starting to grow up a little bit in that division is Tampa Bay.
yeah,
The other teams I feel like are regressing.
yeah. I think, well,
um,
yes, the Panthers definitely are, and the Falcons are just the Falcons,
the
and
Falcons are getting ready to sell off
yeah,
everybody. Julio
yeah.
Jones is going to be in a Packers uniform next year when we get rid of Aaron Jones, 'cause we're just not going to be able to re-sign him. We're not going to have
Man, watch Julio Jones go play with Derrick Henry at the Titans.
boo. Watch him catch
So
passes from Aaron Rodgers.
uh, I'm just saying he's
You
got
want
that
to see him in the
Bama.
AFC. You want him out.
I don't want to. Yeah,
You don't want him with
I
Aaron
don't want to see
Rodgers.
him to. I don't want to see him go to Aaron Rodgers. But
I
I
do.
just say I think that would be pretty cool to have Tannehill throw to Julio Jones and then have that Alabama connection. As much as I hate Bama, it's always nice to see those players go to good teams in the NFL.
Can we get like a real
I'm
investigation into Bama?
with their what
Find out how
recruiting
much they're
just
fucking paying kids.
well, when you got a good coach like Nick Saban, I mean, as much as I feel he's a devil, he's definitely his resume speaks for itself even well before he went to the University of Alabama.
Right.
So I don't know. I
I
can't
would
stand
say I
the
got the
fan base,
Saints.
but
I got the Saints in tonight's game.
I would. I
I
think for me it depends on which Tampa Bay defense shows up. I mean, are they going to
I
show
think
up
the Saints
as
offensive line is better than the Tampa Bay's defensive line.
well? I mean, are you going to have the number 8 defense in the league show up and shut down a pretty potent offense, or are you going to have that uh, boy from Austin, Texas, come out and just start slanging around like he's getting paid to? You know, one thing I'll say about this, I'm kind of I love the Saints. I'm a Drew Brees fan through and through. Um, but a part of me wants to see history happen.
Oh, Brady
You
getting
know,
it.
for one, if Brady does take his team to go play in the Super Bowl in Tampa and be the first team to ever play at their home stadium in the Super Bowl, man, I'll eat my words of all the years that I've said that Brady is not the GOAT. If he does do that, yes, I'll co-sign off on that.
I say Brady's
But
the GOAT personally right now, and you know me, I'm world's biggest Aaron Rodgers fan.
yeah, no, I don't believe that Brady's the GOAT. But
I think Aaron
if he
Rodgers
goes
is
in,
clearly way better.
he's get. I agree. I think that Drew Brees is right up there. If you're going to have a conversation about a GOAT, different things. They've got the
Too
old
many
goats playing tonight.
interceptions. Too many
Well,
interceptions.
it is what it is.
Aaron
But
Rodgers is going to hit
um,
500 interceptions before he throws 100 or 500
yeah,
touchdowns before he throws 100 interceptions.
yeah. No, I love Aaron Rodgers. The only thing I don't like about him is that he plays for the Packers, and that's it. But it's I
Score
like Aaron
tonight,
Rodgers.
38-31 Saints over Tampa Bay.
That's what you're
Nostra,
calling.
Nostra Willie is calling it again. By the way, when
I
I
think it's
called that when I called that before when Taysom Hill was coming out to play, I was like, "Oh, Taysom Hill's gonna throw for 2 touchdowns, 250, and he's gonna run for a touchdown." In that game, he threw for 248, 1 touchdown, and ran for 2 touchdowns in his first game of the year when
yeah
he
he
came
was
in, and I was like, "Oh,
yeah
Taysom Hill's gonna tear him up." You're like, "I don't know. I think you should go with the other quarterback." And I was like, "Ah, dude, Taysom Hill, that's the guy." And dude, he did
I don't
almost exactly what I thought he would do. Nostra
yeah
Willie's
and that
calling
was
it.
well and that was what was interesting about that game was that was before that all the fantasy leagues still had Taysom Hill listed as a tight end,
Dude, we had a
so you
guy
could
in our
put
fantasy
dude
league score
yeah
so many points because he had
yeah
Taysom Hill as a tight
yeah
end.
or a flex or something like that, and you put in there and you have this is the first year that I've not played fantasy football league
I
in
won.
12,
I
12
won.
years.
Suck it. All you all you losers in the Talkeetna Fantasy Football League can suck it. Ugh! Dropping
Hey,
dimes.
calm down, Ruxin.
Yeah. Dude, this we've had this league since 2010.
Oh
Okay?
man,
And I've not won ever. 2010. I was commissioner of the league for the longest time. I'm not anymore. Uh and
got impeached.
I did get impeached. Fucking straight up got impeached. Uh I had an issue. I had an issue. Uh when I when I what happened was is when I took the money from the league, right, and I put it in my savings account, and I had cash, right, uh, and I had 25 G's in my savings account, and plus the 600 from our league, and my savings account got robbed through via PayPal. Literally lost 25 G's for took over a year and a half to get it back. And so when the league's like, "Oh, yo, we need to get the dude's got to get paid," I was like, "Yo, I already brought it up to him, but like, I give a shit about your 600 fucking dollars right now. Like, I have nothing to buy groceries with or anything this week, you know."
Yeah.
So they, rightfully so, they voted me out of commissioner, but I got my payback this year. Alvin Kamara, I literally had the best team ever. Aaron Jones, Alvin Kamara, Tom Brady, Cooper Kupp, DK Metcalf, Travis Kelsey, Adam Thielen,
Damn, what are you playing in a four
Rams,
person league?
Rams defense. No, dude, 12-team keeper league,
Oh,
bro. And
there
it's
you
only
go.
three
Oh, so
keepers.
okay,
It's only three
okay.
keepers. It's not dynasty. It's only three keepers.
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah. I
yeah,
traded
well,
I
good deal.
traded an injured Christian McCaffrey for Travis Kelsey and Adam Thielen. And McCaffrey never came back.
Oh, that's a
Thank you,
steal.
Connor Jermaine. Love. Championship. All right, guys. So we're about done talking here today. It's
Yeah.
been an hour and 15 minutes. Um, we do want to let you guys know we appreciate all your support. Special shout out to Scott Markle, Scott Kless, uh, Gonzo. Big shout out to Brian Horton. These are the four guys that I know that are watching every single episode. Are some of our biggest supporters. They're leaving comments. We really appreciate it. If you've made it this far, once again, hey, what's up, my dude?
Say hi to Mr. Willie. Wave to him.
Um, but just a reminder that we got a couple interviews coming up. We're going to have Tim Popowski, head coach football for Palmer High School. We're going to have the head coach for Hit Squad, uh, Stephen Ford. He'll be on the show. We are also doing a bat giveaway. Subscribe. If you subscribe, you're entered to win a brand new monster bat. Once we have the bat in hand, we'll start taking pictures. We'll get it out there. We'll let you guys know. But subscribe now. You have a chance to win a bat. The other great thing is we have merchandise now. Middle is open. Come at me, bruh. It is out there. So get your merchandise, catch up, get a Wonka Donk hoodie, get the Middle's Open hoodie, get the Come At Me hoodie. Um, they're all online. You can pick it up. All proceeds that we benefit from it just goes right back into our production. Be able to get Hollis a new camera, be able to get some new microphones. We'll be able to make this, actually something. So with all your support, we're gonna get there. Hollis, anything else you'd like to say here?
Now we'll here within the next couple of weeks, once we have our meeting to actually do the classification process and break all these teams up into the new divisions and what's going on, we'll jump on here. I'll bring Brad on with me, and we'll sit around and actually have a good interview and break down this whole process for a lot of folks that don't understand what's going on. And we can just try and be as transparent as possible and just get that info out there.
I cannot wait personally for the Brad Peterson interview. I think that that's gonna be great for the channel, great for the state, great for softball to be able to get that out
Yeah,
and be able to talk about it. So
yeah. It's one
uh,
one thing that is
I'm
it
really
was
excited.
tough. One thing that was tough for me before I got in onto the boards and different things that I'm involved in is just a lack of information that is not out there. I mean, we do have a website, we do have different things of posting, but a lot of people don't understand the process and understand things that go behind the scenes. And just it'll be
Well,
nice to
you and me, let's
you
be
know,
that outlet to the people.
yeah,
Let's give a voice
yeah,
to it.
yeah.
Again, we thank everybody for your support. Be sure to subscribe, get in, win that bat. The only way you got a chance is to subscribe to this channel, and you're gonna win that bat. All right, Hollis, again, thanks. I missed you. It was 6 weeks since we did an episode. You still owe me some hot peppers. Don't
Yeah.
act like I ain't forgot that shit. Um, but I love you, and I love our viewers and everything that we got going on here. If you guys want to subscribe, it's gonna be right here in front of us. Oh, look at the cheese head! And if you want to see our last video, it's gonna be right over here in front of Hollis. All right, everybody. Thank you. Have a good day. Hot Shot Sports Talk.